I just wanna laugh.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the footbas podcast. Today, we're going to have a Christmas-themed podcast. Every NBA team's best Christmas gift so far as of 2021. And a couple things. First off, you guys were probably wondering, I said in the last episode that I was going to have a Santa hat. Didn't really work out, could not find one for some odd reason. So we don't have a Santa hat today. I'm sorry if I disappointed a few of you guys, but and you're probably also wondering, what do you mean by best Christmas gift? So it's basically going to be like stats, their best players, like their good draft pick that they got, or just stats, stuff like that, sleepers. But this may be a little longer video than normal for NBA at least. So we're going to get right into it, and these are in no particular order, these teams. But we're going to start with the Golden State Warriors, and you guys probably already know which one this is going to be. A couple nights ago, the Warriors played the Knicks, and Stephen Curry got his 2,975th three-point shot that got the all-time three-point record. So that's their best Christmas gift this year. I mean, he's just so good. I mean, and he got like two more even after that record. I thought he wasn't going to score at all anymore. But I saw that game live. That was like a thrilling moment. That was very good. Proud of Steph Curry and all the teammates, all the coaches that coach Steph Curry, and he's just become a very good player. But I mean, he beat Ray Allen. And Ray Allen obviously was a great three-point shooter, but Steph Curry did it in almost half the time that Ray Allen did it. So it was just 2 times more impressive. The next one is going to be the Portland Trailblazers. And I know he hasn't had that good of a year, but I'm still going to go with Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard has had a better year a better couple games than what he's been doing, than how he's been playing the first part of the year. He's had a lot better games, even though he's kind of been dealing with an injury. I think he will come out of this injury a lot stronger and a lot better as a player. But he's just so good. I mean, three-point shots, obviously. He's so good, and he's been doing a little better with the mid-range jumpers, what I've noticed. His mid-range has been very smooth, very clean, and obviously he can shoot from the logo like it's nothing. And again, these teams are in no particular order, so we just went through really good teams, and now we're going to do one of the worst teams in the league, which is the Magic. I'm personally an Orlando Magic fan. I live in Florida. Unfortunately, I am an Orlando Magic fan, but their one good Christmas gift has been Cole Anthony. I know he's been dealing with an injury lately. He's been on the injury roster or injury list for a while, but still, he's been really good this year. I think he's been one of the better point guards in the league, at least top 15 this year. He's been doing really good. Now he's got Jalen Suggs and Franz Wagner so he has some people now he can deliver to. The only people he can deliver it to last year was like Mo Bamba, and that was it. And I don't know if he's that good anyways. But now they've got a really good star in Jalen Suggs, and I think that will help Cole Anthony a lot. The Celtics, you guys may be surprised by this. It's going to be Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder, he's very underrated. He wasn't underrated with the Lakers, but he's now really underrated with the Celtics. He's been doing really good. Every Celtics game I've watched, he's gotten like 10 points, which is pretty good. Which is a pretty good number for his position, and his like second string or off the bench point guard. But he's just, he is really good in the mid-range jumper. He can have some rebounds every once in a while, which are very important. If you have a guard that can shoot threes, do mid-range jumper, and catch rebounds, you got the full package. And I think that's what they have with Dennis Schroeder. The Cleveland Cavaliers, it's going to be height. Their new height. They had a draft pick. They got Evan Mobley, the 4th overall pick, and he's just brought a whole new level to the team. They are a over 500 team right now. I think they're like 17 or 12 or something like that. But he's just so tall, and that's what they were struggling with when LeBron James got out of Cleveland. That's what they've been struggling with, and they got Evan Mobley to replace that height, which is very important to an NBA team. I'm going through these teams a little faster. I don't want this to be... Obviously, I try to keep the podcast a little under 30 minutes. This may go a little over, but, I mean, I know you guys love watching the podcast. So, yeah, but we're going to go with the New York Knicks now. The New York Knicks' best Christmas gift is Julius Randle. Kind of like the Cavaliers, he's just really tall. He's really good and get a lot of rebounds. And I've noticed his three-point shooting, free throws, and mid-range jumper has been also very good, just like Dennis Schroeder and Damian Lillard. But, yeah, he's just really tall. That's kind of another kind of thing that you need. That's one thing Dennis Schroeder doesn't have, is height. I mean, he's fast, shifty, but Julius Randle is also those things. And that's what kind of, I think Julius Randle and Joel Embiid can kind of be, like, together. I feel like the only thing that separates them is Julius Randle is faster, doesn't get hurt as much, even though that may be a little sneak peek into the 76ers' best Christmas gift so far. But, yeah, Julius Randle, I think that's what puts him over the top over Joel Embiid. But that's just Joel Embiid. I feel like there's a lot of other players that are better than him, I think, but he will be very good soon. This is funny. The San Antonio Spurs. So, a couple weeks ago, San Antonio Spurs somehow beat the Warriors, and that is their best Christmas gift. I could not think of anything. Like, I looked it up even for the Spurs. I looked up good stats for the Spurs. I found nothing. I don't know any of their players. But I do remember they beat the Warriors. So that's all I gotta say about that. That's the San Antonio Spurs beating the Warriors. I think they beat them like 113 to 109. I think that was final score. Somehow they beat them, obviously. The Sacramento Kings. This is kind of a two-part deal. Davion Mitchell is number one. Gonna be one of the best point guards in the league. I said that I think I said that like two episodes. I have a lot of faith in Davion Mitchell. Kind of how I have a lot of faith in the Vikings making the playoffs for the NFL. I don't know. I just kind of put that together real fast. Kind of Davion Mitchell, I have a lot of faith in him. I have a lot of faith in the Vikings, but haven't worked out very well. They lost to the Lions. So, but I really do think Davion Mitchell is a very good point guard, and I think he will become a very good point guard in the future. And also for the Kings, this is not really a player. This is the whole Kings. They won the Summer League. I mean, can't overlook that. They did win the Summer League, even though, it kind of was with Davion Mitchell. He was a rookie. That's kind of what the Summer League is for. Obviously, Summer League doesn't have that much implications, but the Kings did win. They beat the Celtics in the championship game. I know that's so intriguing to you guys. I know like half of you knew that. I didn't even know the Summer League was a thing until last year. But still, they still won. And you can't really think of much for the Kings unless you're really hopeful that Davion Mitchell is going to do really well. But, yeah, I really do think that winning the Summer League can be good because you got a lot of rookies on the team, and that means they're going to be good in the regular season, unless they choke and feel pressure. I don't know. Maybe this. But the Suns. We're going to move on to the Phoenix Suns. That is going to be their three-point shot. You guys were probably going to say Chris Paul, he's really smart. I said that like 4 episodes in a row, even in football. I don't know how I did that. But I don't remember how I tied the Chris Paul smartness thing into the last NBA or NFL podcast, but besides the point. With Devin Booker and with Chris Paul and with Jay Crowder, they are unstoppable on the 3-point line behind the arc. I think that is the reason they won the Eastern Conference Championship. Or I think that's definitely the reason they won the Eastern Conference Championship. The only reason I think that they lost was because of Jay Crowder. They lost the championship. He couldn't make a 3 in the championship game. He couldn't make a 3 in Game 6. That was the reason they lost, because they only lost by like 6. And if he made like only 3 threes, which is very capable of doing, they could have won that game. But I mean, some shots will take out other shots that made, and you never know what would happen there. But yeah, that is the Suns. The Nuggets is going to be very underrated. And there's one player in particular that is very underrated. Hold on. The paper fell. Ow. Sorry. Ow. Darn it. Sorry about that. But yeah, Aaron Gordon in particular has been very underrated this year, and I think he will continue to be very underrated as the season progresses. And with Nikola Jokic has been passing way more than he has last year. That's the reason Aaron Gordon has done well. He's doing very good 3-point shot. And yeah, I think this is just really good, especially with the Magic. He was very good with Magic, dunk contest, stuff like that. The Miami Heat. And Miami Heat, some of you may know about this, but if you guys don't remember, like the beginning of the season, Bam Adebayo broke a very good record. Forgot the record, but I know he broke a record. So, yeah, that's the Heat. That's their best Christmas gift, Bam Adebayo's record. That's what I wrote down. And yeah, the reason I had to get up is because it's kind of windy and this paper fell. I had it stuck to the table, but still somehow blew away. The Milwaukee Bucks. That is going to be because a lot of people are back from injury. That is their best Christmas gift this year, and it's a very good Christmas gift. Because Brook Lopez isn't back yet, but they got Drew Holiday back, Chris Middleton back. Giannis was the only player on that team for a couple games. And even though Pat Connaughton did get hurt, I think, or no. No, he didn't get hurt. But still, I think that was the only reason that they kind of were on a slow streak at the beginning of the year, is because Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez was out. Even though Brook Lopez is still out. The Brooklyn Nets. And that's going to be, you guys probably knew this one, Kevin Durant's mid-range jumper. It's just so good. It's so clean. It's kind of like not Chris Paul, Damian Lillard with his 3-point shots from the logo. It's kind of like that, but Kevin Durant's just got really smooth shot, and I think he will continue to have that for years to come. Oklahoma City Thunder, and that's going to be their draft pick. I had trouble figuring out this one. It's going to be their draft pick. They got James Robinson Earl from Villanova. And if you guys watched any of March Madness last year, James Robinson Earl took them to the second round, and James Robinson Earl was very good. No, they got to the Sweet 16 with James Robinson Earl. That was like their only player on that team, and that's the reason I think he's like a third string now, but a lot of rookies are like that, except, players like Davion Mitchell right now, Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, like the people that they actually really needed it. The Thunder do need it, but I don't need it as much as the Rockets, Pistons, Magic, stuff like that. The Mavericks, and this is kind of like the Spurs. This is only going to be one game. It was Luca Doncic's game winner. That game against the Celtics was a crazy game. I watched it live, and it was just so intense the whole game. And Luca obviously made the game winner. It was a very good game winner too. I mean, there was like 3 people guarding him, and he was just, very good in that game. Even if he didn't have the game winner, it'd still be very good. Let's see here. The Toronto Raptors. Their best Christmas gift is they have a stacked team. They are so stacked right now. They got Fred VanVleet, Scotty Barnes, who's a very good pickup in the draft. That's another person who they kind of needed it. They have just a lot of other good players on that team. And, they're just really stacked. I know this hasn't been too professional. I had to go get a paper because it flew away. Hit my head on an umbrella while I was walking over there. I know my microphone's getting messed up, but this doesn't have to be too professional. It's just me talking, so it doesn't have to be too professional. But we're going to move on to the New Orleans Pelicans, or I don't really know how to say it, but it is Zion Williamson being able to do one-on-one practices. I got a notification a couple weeks ago that said Zion Williamson is able to do one-on-one practices, and I was so happy for the Pelicans that Zion Williamson is actually able to come back soon. That is just that's really good for them, and that might win them a couple games just because Zion Williamson. It'll give them more confidence. They don't have anyone on their team. It'll just give them more confidence that they know Zion is going to come back soon, and they need to set the pace for him. They need to have a good record for when he comes back, and they'll have a better record. That just brings their confidence back up a lot, and they've showed it. The Chicago Bulls. This is kind of like a 2-part thing. It's one of them's their record. They have a very good record. No one expected that, and the record kind of shows in their next Christmas gift is because they have a stacked team. They got Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Kuzma, which I said this a couple episodes ago. It's kind of underrated, but still. Nikola Vucevic, Zach LaVine, not LaMelo. Alonzo Ball. But seriously, though, they just got a really, really, really good team. They're really stacked. Zach LaVine's a big man down low. Kyle Kuzma, DeMar DeRozan, and why can't I not think of his name? I can't say his name right now. Lonzo Ball. They all have really good 3-point. And Zach LaVine, obviously, and Nikola Vucevic on the board. You can't beat that. The only thing they need to work on is their mid-range jumper and their defense. That's the only thing I think they need to work on. But other things than that, I think they need to go a little more 2-3 zone next time. That's what I've noticed. Or next couple games, I think they need to go 2-3 zone, and that will make them basically unstoppable. Both 2-3 zone, offense and defense. The Minnesota Timberwolves. It's going to be their 3-point shot. Their 3-point shot has been so good, so clean this year. They got Andrew Wiggins. They have... No, not Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins. No, that's not... He plays for the Warriors. I don't know his name, but I know he's good. They got Karl Anthony Towns, who's gotten much better in the mid-range jumper and the 3-point shot. Last year he kind of had a very weird stance shooting threes. It worked, but this year he got a better arcing shot, and it'll help him shoot better threes. That's what I've noticed from Karl Anthony Towns. And obviously he's still really good on the boards. That's what keeps them in the playoff race. That's what kept them in the playoffs race last year. But yeah, we're gonna move on. We kind of had these next 2 teams. first and second draft pick is all I'm going to say. Pistons and Rockets. So the Pistons, though, it is actually not going to be their first draft pick, because Kyle Cunningham, I think, is a little bit of a bust, but their second draft pick. Luca Garza. He has been so good. Or the times that he has played, he's been very good. Luca Garza, I mean, he was very good at Iowa. And I think he will be very good with the Pistons when he gets more playing time. I remember one time he was in the starting lineup, didn't do great. But that's because he's not familiar with that role. That's the only reason. He's not familiar with the Pistons yet. He needs to get it going before he can really show off what he has. The Houston Rockets. That's going to be... I know a lot of people don't agree with this, but I think they did get a very good draft pick in Jalen Green. I think Pistons should have gotten Jalen Green. Then they'll have a very good draft pick. But I know a lot of people don't agree, but he's just really good, really fast, and I think he can get off the ball really well. He can play defense really well. He's very fast. I've seen him block a couple shots. I mean, he's just been really good overall. The Washington Wizards, it's going to be also their draft pick. Getting Corey Kispert was one of the best steals in the draft. From Gonzaga, I think that he will be very good. I saw him score a couple threes one night. He's already showing off what he has when he's able to play. But when he gets more time to be able to play and, like run plays himself, stuff like that, when he becomes an actual point guard for him. When Bradley Beal leaves, Corey Kispert, I think, might move into second string, point guard, or first string. I don't know. But, yeah, I just think Corey Kispert is going to be very good for years to come. The Memphis Grizzlies, it's going to be Ja Morant's three-point shot. I mean, you can't beat Ja Morant's three-point shot. Unless you're Curry or Damian Lillard, then you're just not going to beat Ja Morant's three-point shot. I mean, he's just so good. He can get off the ball really well, just like Corey Kispert. And, he's just, I mean, that's all I really got to say about that. He's just really good. The Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets is actually going to be their record. They've had a really good record. They had a little stretch of time where they couldn't win any, but they've gotten back on track. They have LaMelo Ball. They have Gordon Hayward. They just have a lot of good players on their team. That's the reason I think that they have a really good record this year. The Indiana Pacers is going to be Chris Duarte / draft pick. Chris Duarte was a really good pick out of Oregon. Very good. I've seen that game against the Lakers. He made a shot to win in overtime. Made the three-point shot to win in overtime. Didn't squirrel running behind frame. It didn't work out for him. They didn't win against the Lakers. I didn't expect them to. I feel like games where you make a game-winning shot in overtime, it never works out for the team that did it because they just lost. They used that one shot to push them over the edge. They got them into overtime, but they never end up winning, I don't think. Usually, that's what I've noticed. Like when the game against Virginia Tech with Virginia Tech got a really good three-point shot to end it. This was in March Madness, but the first game with the Celtics and Knicks, that didn't work out for the Celtics. And Pacers and Lakers, that didn't work out for the Pacers. But back to Chris Duarte. Chris Duarte is just really good. He is very good at blocking, very good at dunking. That one game against Iowa, March Madness. I don't know why I'm talking about March Madness so much, but, it's basketball. But, he had a really good dunk that kind of sealed the deal there. Or no, it was against USC. Kind of sealed the deal there. They didn't end up winning, but sealed the deal on the best dunk of the game. That's definitely what I meant. But yeah, I just think he's really good. He's got a very good three-point shot, very good arcing three-point shot, and that's the reason he's going to be very good for years to come. Los Angeles Lakers, it's going to be their height advantage. Kind of like the Cavaliers. LeBron, obviously, really pretty tall. I mean, that's one of the reasons he's really good. Anthony Davis, he's pretty tall. It doesn't have anything to do with their height, because I talked about this. He's not that tall. But getting rid of Dennis Schroeder was not a good choice, in my opinion. These are all, in my opinion. I threw out some stats. I have threw out some stats, but kind of my opinions. But I think I try to do stuff that I've seen, like on ESPN, stuff like that. Kind of stuff like that, where I know some people do agree. I think people do agree that Vikings are going to be very good. They lost the Lions, doesn't matter. But yeah, the Lakers are just really tall. Russell Westbrook is pretty tall, but he's more of a three-point shooter than a rebounder. The Utah Jazz, stacked point guard position. They have Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, not Davion. I said that a couple episodes ago, and I got really confused. But I think that with Mike Conley, obviously a really good three-point shooter, and Donovan Mitchell, a really good three-point shooter, that is the complete package. I think that's the equivalent to a complete package in a point guard position, at least. But they do need someone like Chris Paul. Smart. Even though Davion Mitchell is really smart, I think they need to have a little more, I don't know, just smartness, education. I don't know really the word to say. But the reason I'm kind of trying to be funny this episode is because, it's Christmas time. You gotta be funny. You gotta be Christmassy. Stuff like that. But we also talk about some sports. But yeah, stacked point guard position. That's the Jazz. We have three more teams. We got the Clippers, Hawks, and 76ers. We're going to go to the 76ers right now. The 76ers, I had a little sneak peek. No more injuries to Joel Embiid. Hopefully, so far, he's had a really good year this year, even though I said Julius Randle was better. But yeah, so far they've had no injuries to Joel Embiid, and that's just so good for them, for the 76ers. I think that's just really good, and that'll bring their confidence up. That'll bring Seth Curry's confidence up, Tobias Harris, or their whole team, basically. But yeah, mainly Tobias Harris and Seth Curry because they just now have a big man down low that actually have a chance of winning. Because if you don't have a big man, you're not going to win. That's why the Magic have lost. Yeah. The Los Angeles Clippers, stacked. That's their Christmas gift, is because they're stacked. Paper is about to go in the trash. Once this episode is over, it's going in the trash. But yeah, the Clippers, they're a very stacked team. I think they can be better. Obviously, they're a really stacked team. They got Paul George. They got a lot of other good players. Don't know their names, but they're really good. One with the glasses, that guy with the glasses, he's good. Good point guard. Yeah. They're so good analogy, you know what I mean? Sarcastic. Yeah, I do think, though, really, the Clippers are just a very good team in general. We're going to move on to the last team. Again, no in particular order, obviously, as you guys have noticed. It's going to be the Hawks, Trae Young. Trae Young has been so very good. One of the best point guards in the league. Obviously, I said that in the top 5 point guards of the league episode. And he's just so good. He can get off the ball really well, good at rebounding. He's been better at rebounding and his mid-range jumper. He's been working on that. I've seen a lot. It showed. It's shown that his mid-range jumper has gotten much better in the past couple games. But yeah, that is going to be the end of the podcast. Sorry, it wasn't too professional, if you want to even say that. But, you gotta be funny. The Christmas cheer, you gotta have the Christmas cheer and stuff like that. That's the reason. Yeah. Obviously, next week, we're not gonna have a podcast. Just have a lot of fun with your family, guys. Christmas Eve, stuff like that. We're not going to do a podcast next week. I'm going to try to get the funniness out of me until we have another podcast on December 31st. That's gonna be an NFL podcast. But we are going to have a video of my grandpa's Christmas lights. It's going to be very good. I've told you about that. We're going to do it at some point. Don't know when. I'm shocked I haven't filmed it yet, but I still have to film it. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Have a great day. Have a great Christmas. And see ya.